Hey everyone, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another episode of Desert Island Discs, Desert Island Films, whatever you want to call it. Now I'm back down here after a break of 4 weeks because we interrupted proceedings here with a steelbook shelf. But now I'm back over here and we're going to take a look. We're going to take a look at this shelf here. So let's do it. So Desert Island Discs, Desert Island Films. So if you're new to this, the idea is that every 2 weeks I take a shelf from my collection. We take a look at every film that's on that shelf. I may talk about them, I may not. And then I will pick that one film that I would choose over all the others. If I was stranded on a desert island, what one film would I take with me? That kind of, you get the concept. Yes, so let's just begin, shall we? Let's just begin. Okay, so I'm going to do this here. Now, this is a double shelf, but I tend to split them into two. There is a gap here, but we're going to go with it and just do the top part of this shelf. So first of all, I've got to move out of my way my little plush Frank Castle, aka Marvel's The Punisher. Not at the moment, though. There's a new Punisher in town. So let's take a look at what we have on this shelf. Let me move these down. We're moving into the territory now of the letter R. R for Rollerball. Oh, £8, look, me with the stickers again. So yes, Rollerball, starring James Caan from Arrow Video, this one, with the book inside. I got it from CEX for £8. Yeah, Rollerball. It's okay film. The remake is horrendous. Starring, I can't remember his name, geezer from American Pie. Very flat actor, very, not much range to him. But there we go. So Rollerball. Would this be your pick? Obviously, as I'm going through these films, consider what film you think I will pick. And let me know at the end what film off of this shelf would be that one film that you take above all the others. That's the bit that interests me. Your tastes, your choice. Let me know in the comments down below. And hit that subscribe button while you're down there if you haven't done so already. Then we have Rush Hour. First Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker movie. And I have Rush Hour and Rush Hour 2 inside on DVD. And then I have Rush Hour 3. But no Rush Hour 2. Because I don't, as far as I'm concerned, if I'm right, Rush Hour 2 never got a Blu-ray release in this country. That's really odd. I'd have to go Germany to get that one. Then, yeah, Rush Hour 3. I can't even remember this film. I think I saw it in the cinema. And I think I was bored by it. I picked it up very cheap. Then I have the movie starring Noomi Rapace, who was in Prometheus, Rupture. But I haven't watched it yet. I picked it up again. Very cheap film I picked up. I picked this up cheap for £1. I don't know why. Robin Hood. Because, let's be honest, it's not a good Robin Hood film, is it? No, it ain't. I don't know. There we go. Then we have here with Haley Steinfeld and whoever that is. I can't see his name. It's got £2 sticker on it. Romeo and Juliet. I think it's a modern day. Is it modern day retelling? I think it is. I don't know. No, it's still set in the old days, it looks like. No, it's set in the old days. But I like Haley Steinfeld. That's why I picked it up. I think she's a great actress. Okay, I wondered where this was. We have Rocky Balboa on this shelf. It shouldn't be on this shelf, but it is. So I will include it because I have the complete Rockies below. And this one is just sort of sat separate to them. A nice gold leafing on that there. Rocky Balboa. Clint Eastwood, Charlie Sheen in a Clint Eastwood directed film. The Rookie. This is a German version. No reversible sleeve. Yeah, I tried watching it. I struggled. I mean, I have seen it. I saw it years ago. And it's one of those ones, when I saw it in Germany, I thought to myself, I haven't seen that for a long time. Let's give it a try again. And I just didn't I don't know. Again, now it just seems very dark and quite boring. And we have Robert De Niro in Ronin with Jean Reno, Leon the Professional, as well, who was also in Godzilla 1998. We're up to Jean Reno. Good car chase in that film. I'm pretty sure someone might pick that as their favourite. Then we have Rocket Man, Elton John. Tara Edgerton again, who was Robin Hood, as Elton John. And I like this. I liked its kind of flamboyant nature, its flamboyant aesthetic, its kind of fantasy aesthetic almost. Yeah, almost like they were writing it as though it was to be made into a stage show. Okay, and then we have Revenge there. Revenge. I do have another version of it. It's up top. Quite a violent film, quite a good film. Girl, I believe she gets raped and whatever, if I remember rightly, and then goes on a vengeance spree. Johnny Depp. Rango. That was a cheap pickup for me. Very cheap. Then we have here The Revenant. Leonardo DiCaprio, and what's his face is in it as well. Tom Hardy is in it, isn't he? And this film was like the talk of the town at one point, and then no one speaks of it anymore. Was it an Academy Award winner? I don't remember. Oh yeah, it says on the front, it says on the packet. See, I picked it up cheap. Winner of 3 Oscars, including Best Actor, Best Director. Did it deserve winning that year, or was there something else? I'm not sure. And we have Role Models. Still sealed. I should give this a rewatch. No, it ain't sealed. It's open. Still got the £2 on it. I should give it a rewatch. Remember it being quite funny. And then we have here another version of Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. Directed by Baz Luhrmann. I should have known that by the front. It screams Baz Luhrmann. I think I knew in the back of my head that it was a Baz Luhrmann film. So I'm going to move that one down so that it's with Romeo and Juliet, the other one. What do we have here? Oh, Christ, why do I have this in the collection? Red Dawn, the remake. Rubbish. Then we have from Germany, and it's still sealed, the film Run, Hide, Fight, which is about the school shootings. Thomas Jane stars in this. He's the father. Yeah. Quite a sort of controversial film in that this sort of thing does happen in America a lot, and just shows how unhinged people truly are. What do we have next? We have Ride Along and Ride Along 2. Not much I can say about them. Next up, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. And this film will come round again because I have special 4K version up top somewhere. Going along the top. Saying that, I have a version of it here as well. How many versions of Robin Hood do you need? Yes. So Robin Hood. Where's that other Robin Hood I had? Because I'll put it next to that. Because it's a Robin Hood. So Kevin Costner's classic Robin Hood film came out the same year as Terminator 2. Me personally, I wanted Terminator 2 I wanted Robin Hood to beat Terminator 2 at the box office. It didn't, but I wanted it to. Because I loved Robin Hood. And then we have 101 Films, Tom Selleck, Runaway. Heat-Seeking Bullet. Tom Selleck and his moustache. From Michael Crichton. Kirstie Alley's in this. Michael Crichton film. The writer of Jurassic Park. Then we have Ready or Not. With what's her face in it? I forget the girl's name now. Samara Weaving, that's it. Still sealed. But I have seen it, obviously. Then we have a German version of Romancing the Stone. I do have Jewel in the Nile somewhere. Nile. Jewel in the Nile somewhere, but it's not on this shelf. Romancing the Stone, Indiana Jones-esque. Michael Douglas, Kathleen Turner, Danny DeVito stars in it. I have the German version because at one point, the British one was it demanded a high price. It was like out of print or something, but those prices have now since dropped down to reasonable levels. Just goes to show. Then we have Matthew McConaughey and Christian Bale in Reign of Fire. What was offered up by the poster and the trailer was far more than what we got in the film. I recall that. Megan Fox, Rogue Hunter. I think in the UK this was simply just called Rogue. The one with the lion in it and that sort of thing. And yeah, I don't know. Should give it another watch. And here we have Ben Affleck, Gary Sinise and Charlize Theron in Reindeer Games. The director's cut version of the film. And I still have inside my Blu-ray disc as well. And this is a film that gets a lot of hate. It really does, but I remember not minding it. I haven't seen it for a long, long time. Might give it a different opinion if I watched it today, but I remember not minding it. It was okay. Charlize Theron goes nude in the film. That's always a bonus, and she looks fantastic. She looks great. I'm going to say that. Well, at least that's how I recall it to be. Simon Pegg, Thandie Newton, Hank Azaria, Run Fat Boy Run. I think this was directed by David Schwimmer, if I'm not mistaken. Ross from Friends. Yes, directed by David Schwimmer. I have seen it. Not since I've bought it for £2. Then we have... Oh, I quite enjoyed this, but I can't remember much about it. The Rebound with Catherine Zeta-Jones. Yeah, I think this was okay, if I recall rightly. Been a while, though. Been a while. Then we have Red Riding Hood with Amanda Seyfried and Gary Oldman. From the director of Twilight. That's enough to put anyone off, isn't it? Enough to put anyone off. Now, I do have here, just sat randomly again, Creed 2. Because I have the steelbook below, along with all the other Rockies, apart from Rocky Balboa that's sat up there. But Rocky Balboa is below again in a box set. So that's Creed 2. Decent film. But, I will say, it's still sealed. So I bought it brand new when it came out. And I haven't watched it. And I've bought it again. And it's one of those sort of arguments for, do not buy this stuff brand new. Buy it later on when you see it cheaper, in CEX or in a sale. Or when you get that need to want to watch the film again, maybe buy it then. Maybe that's the time to buy it. And that's the way I'd like to go. But... That's the best way to go. Come on, unless it's something that's a special edition release or steelbook, something you think or you fear might not be there later on down the line. The best way to go is to wait. If you've seen it, and where the windows now of release to cinema are so small, you've seen it all anyway. Even though you've watched it illegally, so wait to pick it up. Then we have Robot Overlords, Ben Kingsley and Gillian Anderson. And embarrassingly, you'd have seen this in an earlier episode because I'm sure it was on the steelbook shelf I'd done. Yeah. Then we have the Alligator film Rogue. And this stars a young, I think Michael Vartan is in this, who was in Alias, the TV show with Jennifer Garner. And it's also got a young Sam Worthington. Radha Mitchell's the main star. Yeah, I like alligator crocodile films, so that's why I got that. Now, I'm pretty sure this will probably be a pick for someone as the best film here. Rain Man. I've picked it up to watch. I've not seen it. I've not seen it, believe it or not. That's right, I've not seen Rain Man. Why haven't I seen Rain Man? Because there was an era of time when I didn't like young Tom Cruise. I didn't like Tom Cruise. I didn't like Tom Cruise. I don't like young Tom Cruise. It wasn't until maybe about the Mission Impossible 2, 3 era that I started getting into his films. And so a lot of his younger films, when he was younger, have gone unwatched. Films like Cocktail, Risky Business, or Days of Thunder. I only saw Top Gun the day before I went to see Top Gun 2. Because I like old Tom Cruise. I don't really like young Tom Cruise. So I bought that to visit it and catch up on some Tom Cruise stuff. Now we have R.I.P.D. Rest in Peace Department. It's essentially Men in Black. Is based on a comic book series that is interlinked from Dark Horse. It's interlinked with Hellboy. The R.I.P.D. is a part of that Hellboy universe, I believe. Not that I've read that stuff, I haven't. And there was a sequel earlier this year. A straight-to-video sequel following the Jeff Bridges character when he was far younger. Different actor playing the part. The geezer out of Burn Notice, the main star of Burn Notice. It was a load of rubbish. It was a load of drivel. It was poor. It is available on Blu-ray. I don't have it. Okay, and then we have... I picked this up cheap. Renfield, because I wanted to give it a rewatch and give it a fair shot because I love Nicolas Cage. I'm not a fan of Nicholas Hoult. Nicholas Hoult hasn't done anything for me yet. He hasn't done anything. He hasn't done a film yet that makes me stand up and notice him as an actor. I find him to be very bland. So he's somewhat off-putting. And I know his name was thrown around, bandied around for the new Superman. Obviously, that's been cast. I did say he wouldn't get the role because he's too big. He's too big a name. He's already been in too many big things, and they wouldn't do that with an actor for Superman. Cast someone who's massive or who is relatively well known. In the case of Nicholas Hoult, that Nicholas Hoult, if anything, would be cast as Lex Luthor. I could see them using, if they were going to cast him as anything, it would be Lex Luthor. You'd never cast him as Superman. You need someone completely unknown, someone you haven't seen or can connect to another film series like Nicholas Hoult has been in the X-Men. He was in a Mad Max film. That sort of a thing. So I knew they would never cast him, thankfully. So this film for me is just about Nicolas Cage. I still haven't given it the rewatch I want to give it. So there we go. So anyway, so next up we have the movie Raise the Titanic from 1981. This is the film in which they find the Titanic and they raise it from the depths. Obviously, this was filmed 4 years prior to Robert Ballard finding the Titanic for real. And then them understanding and realising that, well, actually it's split into two. Because obviously when the Titanic raises out of the water in this film, it's in one piece. But it looks fantastic. Now, the model for this, the model they built back then in 1980, for 1981 release, cost $3 million to make. that model for this film cost $3 million to make, and John Barry's score is fantastic for the film, and the scene where it does come up out of the ocean looks phenomenal. Okay, I know you can tell it's a miniature because of the water, how the water looks and this sort of a thing, but it is it's a fantastic scene from a film that flopped, basically. This is a nice little release. I got this for about £8, and it has a little booklet in it. Nice little bit on the inside about it as well. And I bought this around the time when that sub went missing, that went down to the Titanic, because there was a bit of a renewed interest in the Titanic at that juncture. I didn't regret buying it. It's from Network now defunct, obviously, sadly. But yeah, it's a well worth a pickup with what you get with it. It's a nice little release. But yeah, so yeah, Bob Ballard, who found the Titanic in 1985, the oceanographer, he done it with a Frenchman whose name eludes me as well at this moment in time. But basically, they were the looking for the Titanic was actually a ruse. That was a cover story for what they were really doing. They were out there investigating a couple of downed submarines from, I think, from World War II or something. But they were looking at the remains of these submarines to see if there's been any tampering or anything like that for secrets by some other governments or anything, like the Russians or whatever. Or if they went down during the Cold War, I'm not entirely sure. But they found these submarines within about 2 days. And they still had, I think maybe, there was a 15-day mission. They'd done the submarines in about 2 days. Then they started looking for the Titanic because that was their cover for being there. And lo and behold, they actually found it. That's the story behind that. And then the last film on this shelf here that we shall look at is the movie Rush. It's got a nice lenticular look. You can pick this up for next to nothing. It was in Poundland at one point, but you can pick it up next to nothing in CEX as well. Chris Hemsworth and Daniel Bruhl. Thor and thingy from, I forget his name now. What's the villain's name? He was the villain in Captain America Civil War. The bloke who brought the Avengers down. Their greatest villain. But so that's it. That's what I've picked. That's what's there. That's what I couldn't say. That's what I picked up. That's what's on the shelf. They're your choices. So have you made your choice? What film would you pick on that shelf? And I'll be right back with my choice. Okay, so I am back and my choice has been made. Can you guess what film I picked off of this shelf? I think it's pretty easy to guess, actually, with some of what I said. But anyway, I just want to say that I think that had I seen this film, it's feasible that I might be choosing this film. I've got a feeling that I'm going to think this is a great film. That's all I can say. I know that it's an Academy Award winner. Obviously, it says it on it. I know that it was well spoken about at the time and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, it's feasible that it could have been that had I seen it. That being said, I haven't seen it, so therefore I cannot pick it. So I can only pick from what I've seen. So the film on this shelf that I would take with me is none other than Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Kevin Costner. What was this, 1992, was it? I think it was. Alexa, in what year did Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves get released?
The film Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves was released on the 19th of July 1991.
There you go. I said 92 and it just came to me 91 just before she uttered it. So 1991, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Alan Rickman, Brian Blessed, Christian Slater, Morgan Freeman. Great cast. I've got no issue with the fact that Kevin Costner's accent isn't British. That doesn't bother me in the least. I think it's a very good film and the best Robin Hood film that I have seen. I will say that. Now, for you to let me know what you picked. Let me know what you picked on that shelf. I will say that in 2 weeks' time when I do the next shelf, Robin Hood is on that shelf as well, but I won't include that because... Actually, I could include it because I'm sure it won't be the one that I pick because I can tell you now that the next shelf is R's. It's the continuation of R, the letter R. And I can tell you that there are a lot of films on that shelf, and it's going to be a battle to choose that one film that I would take above all the others, because there are some true classics on that shelf. But I will go as far as saying that the other one that I nearly picked from this shelf, that I had seen, if it weren't Robin Hood, I'd have had to have said Rocky Balboa. I think Rocky Balboa is a fantastic film. I think it was a fantastic return to the character. I think it's let down by the elements with the person he's fighting, in the sense that it feels like I'm watching two different films, because the fighter that he's fighting isn't a character as such, isn't, you know, Apollo Creed was very much this big flamboyant character. Same with Mr. T, same with Ivan Drago. There was this comic book-esque nature to these characters, this over-the-top kind of, and you haven't got that in Rocky 6. And I think it falters for that reason in the scenes where you cut away from Rocky Balboa to this other geezer. It feels like I'm watching maybe a proper boxing film, if that makes sense. But I still think it's a fantastic end to the character. The fact that he goes into this fight at the age he is, and he sees the fight out to the end, and he doesn't even care. He doesn't care if he wins or loses. He's out of that ring before he's even heard the outcome of the fight, because it's not about the fight, and it's not about the winning or the losing again. It's about that he could get up there and still do it, and he done it. And that's what the film's about, ultimately. So, but then, even though I think the other geezer wins on points again, but he loses in a sense because everyone's chanting Rocky, Rocky, Rocky. And it's a beautiful ending. It's a real sad ending as well. A bittersweet in a sense. That's a beautiful ending. It's not. It's upsetting in a happy way. And those scenes where he's walking through the crowd at the end and everyone's like clapping and cheering him and chanting, that was for real. That wasn't scripted. That's real. That's Sylvester Stallone walking through, because it was filmed in a pay-per-view arena between real fights. So the audience was real. And when he was walking off, everyone was actually chanting Rocky, and you can see the emotion in his face. And yeah, you know what? I could easily change my mind from this being Robin Hood to Rocky Balboa, the way that I'm talking about Rocky Balboa. And I'm like, I don't know. Wow. Now I'm talking about Rocky Balboa, I want to say Rocky Balboa. Oh, I'm left. Oh, I don't know if I can do this one. Rocky or Robin Hood? I think emotionally, Rocky's a much stronger film, just because of that ending. I don't know. What would you go with out of them two? Rocky or Robin Hood? I'm at a loss now. I'm at a loss, and I'm going to leave it there. I'm confused. For once, I don't know what to do.